Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us in this one night only conversation with some of your favorite Singapore football greats. Tonight, on the show, we have the crafty custodian, Lionel Lewis, the backbone of the Lions, Lim Tong Hai, the powerhouse of precision, Alexander Durich, the maverick from Down Under, Joseph Balatsitis, and the man who lives, eats, and drinks football, Rizal Rasuddin. Now, everybody that has tuned in, thank you so much for joining us. You must understand one thing. With all of these legends under one roof, I cannot do this alone. allow me to introduce to you a man that's a household name with regards to both entertainment and football. Presenting to you the man, the legend, Mark Richmond. Hey! Yo, yeah.
KP Sandhu.
Oh, thank you so much.
KP Sandhu, yeah.
And Mark, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is a dream come true, bro. I've been watching you, I've been hearing you, and I've been a great admirer of your work. And I never thought one day you and I will be sitting across each other having this special conversation.
Well, you know what? When they first told me that I was hosting it with KP Sandhu, I decided to check out some of the stuff that he's done, and I have to say that it's pretty funny. He is as colorful as he looks right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mark. Wow, this is gonna be fun, huh? I mean, immediately when they said this show is happening, that nostalgia factor, the memories came flooding back.
Absolutely.
What is one or a couple of memories that you have of Singapore football throughout the years?
Well, I think that especially from the I got involved only in late 1980s, early 1990s.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the amount of people that were supporting the national
Yeah.
team during that period of time.
Yeah.
When they scored a goal, I remember in front of my commentary booth, you know, I wouldn't be able to see the pitch because
Right.
they'll be slapping on the window, they'll be slapping their faces,
course,
and they
of
velcroed
course.
their faces. They looked really ugly, but the goals were pretty as well from the national side during that period of time.
I remember that first game my dad brought me to. He said, "We're gonna go and watch a football game." I'm like, "Football? I don't know whether I'm into this or not." He said, "Come." And he bought a ticket and we went to watch. I still remember the game. It was Malaysia Cup, Singapore versus Perlis.
All right, okay.
And the Lions thrashed Perlis 5-0.
Yeah.
The next day, I went back to my school and I said, "I'm signing up for the football CCA."
And how did that go?
Pretty badly. I'm a host now. So tried that out, but here I am. If you can't score the goals, at least you can announce them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the case of my life as well, right? And you know, we looked at our legends earlier on. They're all set. They're in the room. They're ready to talk. And you talked about Rizal as well,
Yeah.
being someone who lives, breathes, and eat football.
Absolutely.
You know, that's absolutely true because I saw him what he had for dinner, and he actually had a real football.
You got a real football, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
And he said curry champo as well at the same time. Yeah, he's the kind of guy. Yeah. So,
It's called a masala bola. That's what he had for dinner, right? And speaking of bola, yeah, what is this all about? Kate?
this is no less than a masala bola because the legends that we have coming up very, very shortly, each of them have taken out their time to sign this football for you. And you, the viewers who are watching at home, 25 of you stand a chance to win this signed autograph ball. It'll be all yours. It's a special lucky draw. All you gotta do is sign up and you know it might be just coming your way.
Yep. Oh, hang on. They're not here to see us, right?
No. I don't think so. How I wish. Not even my family is watching me on this show. They're waiting for Lionel Lewis. They think he's so hot and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he still is hot, according to some people. Yeah,
Yes.
Right. And maybe we should throw the first question at Lionel Lewis. I think a lot of people are waiting to see our legends. They are right in front of the cameras.
All right, here we go.
Right now, there we
Oh,
go.
hello, guys.
Oh.
Guys. Hello.
All right, my God. Thank you.
Now you know why they're there and we're here. I mean, look at the difference in color and dressing and all that.
Absolutely.
You need to be in black to be there, right?
As if they're playing on one team against everybody else. Yeah. All right, but no doubt about this panel that we have. Indeed, we can call them greats, we can call them legends, and we are absolutely ecstatic that you're here with us today.
And saying more than the word hello, we promise you that. Let's get to our first question. KP Sandhu, do you have a question to ask?
I do, actually. I do. And I'm going to be calling upon the footballer whom not only occupies a space in many of the girls' hearts, but in my heart as well, because I used to be a goalkeeper as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But then what, you know, the old joke said, I caught no ball. So my first question is going out to Lionel Lewis himself. Hi, Lionel. How are you doing, bro?
Hi, I'm fine, yeah.
Okay, Lionel, my question to you is straight up, very simple. It's good to get the ball rolling with this one. What led you to play football as a sport?
I think basically during my younger days, I think my neighbors and my friends, everybody just loved to kick around in the neighborhood. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, we played under the void deck, you know, we hit the ball at people's place as well, get caught by police. But that's how we grew up, you know, grew up enjoying, loving the beautiful game.
such an inspiring tale by breaking the law.
Exactly.
But he's right. The ones that did that, they actually went on to make football their absolute passion. Yeah. So Lionel was one of them.
Yeah.
He's one of our greats today.
Yeah, and that's the reason why he's so good with his hands. It was in handcuffs all the time, all those years ago. I'm going to throw this question to Joseph Palasidis. Joe, could you tell us a little bit more about your role in the Football Association of Singapore?
Sure, Mark. No handcuffs for me. It's an exciting role. I've been with FAS now for just over a year. Being the technical director of football in Singapore carries with it a huge weight of responsibility and something that I'm pretty excited about. It's about being able to mould and point Singapore football in the direction we want it to get to. So how can we develop it and how can we improve it as we go along? And that it's different elements of it that we have to address, whether it's coach education, women's, grassroots, youth programs, youth development, the national youth teams. It's all something that we have to try and put together and put it down in a way that we're just going to keep improving and getting better and better and better into an effect where we can make Singapore something we're really proud of football-wise.
Right.
Excellent stuff. The future looks bright for Singapore football. Then.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. And the future looks bright because the past was pretty bright as well. And that's why my next question is for Mr. Lim Tong Hai. Hello Tong Hai. How are you doing?
Hi.
Now, Tong Hai, see, we're all Singaporeans, and the one thing that's so difficult to do in a country, especially like Singapore, is balancing your family life, your work life, and your passion. So that's exactly going to be my next question. How did you manage to balance your love for football with your work and family all at the same time? Tell us more.
I think there's a lot of time management involved. You can't possibly be doing two things at one time. I mean, maybe it's a guy thing, we do one thing at a time. So we need to focus on what we are trying to do. Let's say if we are doing our training or we are training, we focus on what we are doing. So we need to segregate our time accordingly. And with proper planning, I believe that's what we can do better than that.
Right. Thank you very much, Tong Hai. Thank you. Big fan, by the way. Big fan. Thank you so much. Yeah.
By the way, it's not just KP and myself asking the questions. We encourage you as well to
Yes.
type in your questions on Zoom, on the chat room. Just type in your questions, and we will get to them by the end of the show. We promise you that, okay? Okay, now this man has usually got a lot to say until the camera goes on him. His name is Alexander Duric. He is also the Active SG Football Academy, currently involved and heading the academy as well. Alex, could you tell us not just what Active SG Football Academy is all about, but how important a role it plays in nurturing the next generation of Singapore footballers?
I guess I started this academy 4 years ago now already. It's kind of giving the opportunity, I think, to every kid in Singapore to opportunity to play football. I think this, with the guidance from our coaches in Active SG Football Academy, I think is a great initial by Sport Singapore to have all these kids in, to play on the weekends and enjoy. Coaching football sessions, and of course not only that, because we're hoping that some of those kids will stay in longer, and hopefully one of them will find future talented players and who can go all the way and play for the national team one day.
Oh, you delivered that very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Very De Niro, I like that, Alex. Very nice. Okay.
Thank you.
So my next question, ladies and gentlemen, is going on to the man we call Rizal Rasuddin.
Hey.
Hello, brother. How are you doing? Feeling good?
Good.
Okay, so this is a very important question. This is a question I think we've asked each other many times in just normal conversations when we talk about sport and Singapore sport, especially Singapore football. What do you think it'll take for Singapore to make it good in the international football scene and for our players to be poached internationally? Over to you.
My feeling is that everybody must play a part in this to make the Singapore football good, be it from the grassroots level to the elite level. So we all must come together as one nation to ensure that we support the Singapore football team. That's my take on that.
Well, football very much is the public's game, isn't it?
is, it
Yeah,
is.
that's right. I mean, you look at it, what's happening around the world as well. It's only when a city gets together that it becomes really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we don't need just a National Day parade to get us all together. We need things like these. Like, do we want to put Singapore on the football map? If everybody believes in it, maybe it will come into fruition one day.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you've seen it also on the English Premier League. It happens as well.
Yeah.
You know, the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City. Speaking of Manchester City, do you know for a fact that Lionel Lewis, our national goalkeeper, had a trial at Manchester City?
What are you saying, Mark?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you telling me
I'm
the
saying
truth?
it could have been you.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been me. It could have been Manchester. But ain't no me going to Manchester City, people.
Lionel, tell us first of all, are you a fan of Manchester City, and how did the trials, how did your time go in Man City? Lionel Lewis.
Yeah. I think basically I'm thankful for the opportunity. I was just mentioning earlier as well. I think young kids should aim to actually play overseas. So thankful that the opportunity came for me. I think meeting great players, being welcomed by then coach Sven Goran Eriksson. I think it was an amazing experience for me as a young player at that point of time, and then getting to rub shoulders with world-class players. Keeper like then England #1 Joe Hart. You have Swedish #1 as well on the bench, Andreas Isaksson. So I think learning from them in training and the opportunity to travel there, travel for EPL games is a wonderful experience for me.
I don't know who's Joe Hart. I know who's Lionel Lewis. I don't know who's Joe Hart. I don't know what you're talking about, Lionel. So I have never heard of this man. Heard of you? I heard of you. So well played, Lionel. Well played.
At least Lionel never got dropped.
Ooh.
Not like Joe Hart.
And that came straight from the heart, I tell you that. All right, guys, I'm moving over to Mr. Alexander Duric. I've got a question for you, sir. And I specifically want to ask Alex this question because when I came in, he truly paid me a compliment about what I was wearing, and he saw him spit in the corner after that. But I was like, so much love, so much love. Now, but one thing I really admire about this man, he's traveled all around the world. He has played for many teams. He comes from a lot of global experience. So I think this is the perfect question for him. And the question is, what values should football inculcate in every player, which are important? And what makes an ideal football player to be called professional? What do you think?
Oh, that's the question. That's the question. Just for me. I basically believe that being professional sportsman, whatever sport you are in, you really need to have a lot of life values. I think this is something which one is important to have as a person and carry on during your career, whatever you do. Of course, you need to be make a lot of sacrifice in your life, be disciplined, respect, hard work, and all these things definitely come with together with to become sportsman. And also, if you wanted to really go far, so all these things is very much connected together, and to help you to become professional sportsman.
All right.
And he was the perfect person to answer that question as well, because in all my years that I've seen in local football, I can honestly tell you that I've never seen anyone work harder than Alexander Duric.
All right.
On and off the pitch.
On and off the pitch.
Yeah, or me.
Wow.
No problem. Slip me the pocket.
Want to know about these hard works off the pitch stories soon? Okay.
You don't want to know.
I
that
don't
about
wanna know.
Duric, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
For next story.
Wow.
I'm going to go back to Joseph on this. Joseph, you talked earlier on about women's football in Singapore. Now, that's pretty much an unknown commodity. In fact, not a lot of people even know that we have a national women's football team.
That's true.
Unfortunately. How are we doing in terms of that, and how are we getting more women to actually play the sport in order for us to grow the sport in Singapore?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and something that we're really looking at focusing over the next couple of years, in particular, just on women's football. I think it's fair to say that we're still in our infancy as a footballing nation for women's football. The amount of growth that we've had over the last 3-4 years has actually been quite impressive. The women's department's done a very good job in reaching out to all the football landscape there to try and get more young girls involved in women's football. It's probably based on our international performances last year. You know, we're showing some signs that we're going forward, and that's really encouraging. We've got, like I said, the women's department has put in place, many programs to try and get more girls involved. We've got 3 Cub centres that target girls from 5 to 12 years old, and they've increased the amount of girls that have been part of that over the last 2-3 years, which has been great. We've got a GAP program that goes into schools. We run all the schools girls competitions, so they're very, very active, our women's department, in making sure that it grows, the word gets spread out, and it's going to continue to grow over the next foreseeable future. I think it's an untapped area of football, and I think that once we do expose the game a bit more, it's going to grow rapidly. And I suppose one of the goals that we have for the following year is we've put in a bid to host the AFC Under-20 Asian Cup group stage, and that's going to be pretty exciting if we get it. And we know we're in contention, and we're hoping that comes to fruition very shortly. So if we do get that, that's the much needed exposure that we need, and we're hoping that everyone gets in behind that bid and women's football as a whole, because again, it's a missing element of football in Singapore, and football's part of everyone's lives. So we really want to get in behind the women's game.
Yeah, I think he hit the nail right on the head. I think the women have got so much to offer in terms of football, and they're not really getting the exposure that they need to show how good they really are. What do you feel about that, Mark, across all your years of watching the sport?
Yeah, absolutely right. I think that this is one of the fastest growing sports. I mean, look, you just have to look at America,
Yeah.
for an example.
Yes.
I think it's probably the #1 sport amongst all girls
Yes.
in America, which is what they term soccer over there. So it is a very, very big thing, and I think that it needs to start as well, and some stigmas need to be removed in terms of women
Absolutely.
playing football. And there are a couple of very special players, but a lot more exposure is needed than that,
True.
if you ask me.
You know, when you said the word stigma, it's so interesting because that's going to be the perfect segue into the next question, which is actually for Mr. Lim Tong Hai once again.
Okay, all right.
Stigmas. Let's talk about stigmas. Mark, I mean, you've done it all. I'm trying to get into even half of what you do, but were your parents always supportive at the start?
No.
Yeah, neither were mine. One of those traditional Indian families. Huh? You mean you don't want to be a doctor? You don't want to be a lawyer? Huh? How about IT? IT, heard of IT? And when I told them I want to be an MC, they're like, oh my God, who is going to marry you one day? And then we get all of these reactions. So my question for Tong Hai is, Tong Hai, did you face something similar when you told your folks that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go become a professional footballer? How did they react to it? And if your own children wanted to do it one day, what would you tell them?
Okay, that's excellent question. Two parts to it. When I turned professional, it was immediately after my national service. So I was contemplating, should I go into education, or should I further my education, or do I venture into a professional, being a professional footballer? So when the option was given to me to turn professional, I actually asked my parents, and then my parents said that it's really up to you. So there wasn't any opportunity cost for me, so I took up the challenge. And once I started playing football professionally, and there was 20 years in football, And my parents, I have the blessings from my parents, if now, talking about whether I will support my kids in doing that, both my kids are also in sports. My son and my daughter both are also involved in different sports. Most important is when they get involved in sports, they must know that they have to put in a commitment. And if they want to pursue a career in sport, then they must make sure that the commitment is there, and if they are willing to put in the effort, and then we will support it wholeheartedly. But it's really up to them, and they must know that there's no easy way out being a professional player, be it in any other sports, because there's a lot of sacrifices to be made. It's not easy. What we are seeing right now, I mean, what we have seen people's success, it's very nice to see that. But then again, behind that, the hard work, and I think Mark will attest to that. That if you look at Joseph Schooling, we see that him winning the Olympic gold is important, it's good for us. But the hard work, the kind of hardship that he has gone through, only he knows. So we must be, whoever is turning professional, they must be able to put in the hard work, and the fruits of labor will be better.
Really good point. And just to make sure that they get the due credit as well, Tong Hai's daughter, Jade, national swimmer. Jade, right? Tong Hai, if I'm not mistaken. And your son, what sport is your son playing? I know he's in Australia at the moment.
He's in swimming and water polo. So.
Swimming and
wow.
polo? Right, okay. Never ever thought of him turning football pro? No?
When he was young, I brought him to the football field. Unfortunately, he was asthmatic, so there he goes out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, all right. And all the best to Tong Hai's kids, man. I mean, your dad has said that.
Yep.
He's got their back. He's got their back.
Exactly.
What else would a kid want to hear? My parents got my back. Thank you very much, Tong Hai. Yeah.
Yeah. And his daughter, of course, is a national champ as well, you know, in terms of a national schools champ as well in her event. So really, it runs right through in the family. Rizal, I'm going to come to you with this next question because you talked a lot about community earlier on. Let's talk about the S League. It started out as a, it started out as a headline. These days, it's almost become a punchline. People are almost making fun of it more than anything else. Since you talked about community, Rizal, is there a way that a community can come together to revive interest in the Yes League?
Okay, hi. So during 1996, when the first S League started, we see so many people come together to watch the S League and support. I think during those days, we have players coming from their own constituency, something like example Sembawang Rangers. You have players staying in Yishun, where household name. You have Geylang United. You have players staying in Geylang area, Bedok area. So that is where the identity of the place where residents know them. So maybe what the current they can do, the current SPL club, to adopt, let's say, Tampines, which they are doing very good, getting the people around the community, the CCs, the PMET, all to support the club. And also I believe the stadium where Active SG doing, this current, the new stadium, it brings the vibrance. As a family, I would like to come and watch the match because it brings bondings together with the children. So, and the publicity, we must, I think the papers, the Facebook, everyone must play a role. Like in those days, you have the club in the north and the club on the other side, they have war on the same day. They will scold each other in the papers where people want to look, oh, what is it all about? You can even get full house during the Singapore Cup in Kallang Stadium, if I'm not wrong, during those when Woodland play against Geylang. But we need, like I said, if the club in the Tampines, we need all the Tampines, whoever there, like the GRC, the community centers, the companies around there, the people who live around there must support. So the schools especially. So the players, the club must make an effort to also outreach to these people who are living in those areas.
Right.
Excellent answer. And
That is a very nice.
I remember during those times as well, it's not just Geylang and Woodlands, and then later on when Fandi moved over to SAF against Woodlands as well, there were camps who were fans of Fandi and there were camps who were fans of Sundram. They loved the individual flair of those players.
Yeah.
And the stadium was packed. I remember the
Exactly.
first ever final between, I believe it was Geylang against SAF.
Okay.
It was absolutely packed in that stadium.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Exactly, and an Iranian actually scored the winning goal to win the title for Geylang, and he went on to play in the World Cup finals himself.
Wow.
Exactly, in 1998. I mean, that's the kind of players that we attracted, during that time in the S League.
So, do you think the glory days, Mark, according to you, they have to return, right? I mean, what do you think? Do you think they'll return, and how?
It will be difficult
Yeah.
because these days, of course, people have got so many options. During those days, it's you watch football. They don't take in the football diet the same way that they do.
Exactly. It's very different.
And also that level of commitment, as Rizal said, and I totally agree with him that it takes a whole community to run it. It's people talking about it, fan clubs being formed, and all that kind of stuff. Only when that happens. Probably there's a high chance that we can move forward again.
I think it will come back, for sure, no doubt about that. You know, you mentioned names like Fandi and Sundram, icons, legends, household names. And to give him credit as well, another person that, came into the same category is indeed Lionel Lewis. Today you talk about football. Everybody who watches football knows who Lionel Lewis is. So Lionel, this next question is for you. Now, you are without a doubt a football role model, my brother. My question to you is, what attributes do you think a football role model must have? And for you, does it become difficult to become a role model sometimes? Is that too much pressure? Something like that. Tell me.
I think basically to be a role model, I think not even as a footballer or as a sports person, I think most important is you need to be able to carry yourself. I think the discipline you must have, and like what my other friends have said, Juric has mentioned, I think time management. I think all these are important points where actually you can actually help yourself to be a role model, because in the same time you are actually inculcating these kind of values to the others around you, right? So basically you need to be able to carry yourself well, being able to do whatever you say, and then ensure that the rest, hopefully that the rest will actually look up to you as one of those where they actually respect. I think that's the most important thing.
Before we move on, Lionel,
Yeah.
who's your role model?
For me,
Could be anybody. Okay.
Zurich is saying it's him.
Alexander Duric is waiting for his name to be mentioned.
Yeah, that's right.
let's say that. I think definitely not Juric. For sure.
Oh, there you go. You have the headline. Oh, that was below the belt. That was what we said. That's red card. That's red card. Red card. Oh, mic drop, script drop. Oh, wow, man.
I would
Sorry,
have to
tell
say
everybody.
I would have to say my parents, yeah. Basically, my dad was a role model for me, I think, he worked hard for the family when I was a young boy, and then that's how I got most of the values from him.
I mean, I think Alexander Duric doesn't have to feel too bad. You can't beat somebody's father. I mean, like, that's a tough one to beat. You say my father, like, nobody else matters after that. Maybe except your mother. But you understand where I'm going with this. Oh, thank you, Lionel.
Duric is about the same age as his father anyway.
No.
There goes the beer.
Suddenly, he's regretting saying yes to this show. We love you, Alex. We love you.
Alex, by the way, let's get to this. Since we're talking about parent-kids relationship
Right.
and all that, back to your role in Active SG Football Academy. Now, the role a parent plays in terms of bringing up the kid and then bringing it to be taken over by the coach, because I know of some parents who will still be the coach, even though the kid's like 14, 15 years old.
Yes.
They don't want to let go, right? I remember one of the very famous NSAs in Singapore, a youth development coach, once said, I have trained all around the world, but I've never seen parents as enthusiastic as Singapore parents, all right?
Okay.
He put it very kindly. Now, Alex, what role do you think a parent plays? Let's say, for example, because we have so many different views of what we feel our child is. If my son just dribbles past a cone, I think he's Lionel Messi.
Of course.
But my view of him is here, but the actual truth is here.
Right.
What's your take on the parent's role, Alex? And then I'll hand it over to Joseph with the same question as well. What do you think is the parent's role in terms of bringing the kid to an academy like Active SG?
Well, first of all, I must say this, myself as a parent, I have 4 kids, so it's definitely is a supporting role as, give the best to the child. Of course, is being parent, and especially if I know there's a lot of parents think they knows everything about football. They are trying to be involved and shouting from the side of and then, giving the actually bad things than good things is by shouting and all this. But it's happened because it's not only just in Singapore. I think it's all around the world the same. I think parents get overexcited when, especially during the games, and this is kind of normal because But I can say that is most important for parents is actually to see that. In Active SG Football Academy is that to see that his child is in the good hands of the coaches, having fun, they're learning, and it's not just only about football. I think overall is important to have not just learning about basic football moves, but also to learn some. I like to say there's some life values inculcate in the sessions, so they can they get both sides of the in training. So this is my and parent being parent, they own the kids, and they are one who choose the best for their own kids. And I think this is no different in the Active SG Football Academy, any other academies. I think they want to see the values giving that to the child, and so it's so it's all this is important. I think is important is you must have a balance in all these things, but I personally would like to see the parent just to let professional coaches to deal with those kids and don't get in coaching involvement because the shouting on the side of the field doesn't really help not the own child, but doesn't help anybody. But it's kind of like everywhere. So I get used to this. I need to go around and kind of talk to the parents and let them know that they should be supportive and not only for their own child but for the team and be fair enough for the when is the games on.
Right, Joseph, what about your take on this, the role of a parent, especially from your role now and looking at the youth development squads that are coming up, the importance of being a parent and letting go as a parent. What is your take on that?
I agree with Alex. The main thing is to let the child find his own way. Like Alex said, it's all about supporting his upbringing. Let him fall in love with the game, let him enjoy his football, and everything else usually falls in place. And when a child plays football, he wants to learn, he wants to play, but he's part of a team now, and he learns these values within a team of being camaraderie and supporting your teammates and just enjoying the moment. And I think we sometimes forget that kids are here to enjoy themselves, and sometimes parents want to, as Alex rightly said, parents sometimes want to live their lives through their child, and they get too involved, and we don't want to do that. We want people to fall in love with the game, and sometimes when the parents are overexcited, then you see, like Alex said, they probably shout too much, and that can make a child lose their enthusiasm a bit. And so if we're talking about the balance of it all, we want them to go as far as they want to. Do they want to have a life of football? Then we support that and we encourage that, and we hope that we can help him choose the right pathway for that. And if he wants to just have fun with his friends, we support that as well. So they're the type of values we want to instill in the child, but we also want the parents to understand that. So sometimes we have to educate the parents just as much as what we have to educate the child as well.
Right. He's absolutely right. And parallel with the parents, right, Mark, I think a team definitely needs good players. Mm-hmm. You need passion, you need supporters, you need that push from your family, not just shouting on the sides like what they were saying. Yeah. But I think at the core of it, a good coach is vital. Yep. Like if you don't have the right man or woman leading you in the right direction, there's only so much talented players can do. You need to harness their talent and make them play together. Yep. So having said that, this question is coming up is for Rizal, and it's a very important question. I want to ask Rizal, what do you think, Rizal, makes a good coach? And how can a coach be hard on his players and at the same time not kill their love for the game?
Oh, okay, depends. Coming from a grassroots background, the coach in the grassroots level between 5 to 16 years old, I believe the coach should allow the children to express themselves to play football on the pitch. That's where the grassroots football is all about, where the coach motivates them, encourage them to play better. When they go to the next level, probably the Active SG, where they further develop the children, where the coach will instill more, basic drills, tactics, and then when they are better, they go to the Football Association of Singapore, the elite. The coach in the elite will have a different strategies. So, depend on what age. Because now, like what Alex was saying is true. Like the grassroots football, the coaches are there. Most of the coaches are parent volunteers. But then, during the game, you can hear parents shouting, telling the child what to do: shoot, pass, shoot, kick back, whack the ball. This is very, very unhealthy. So I need Alex to come down to grassroots football, to tell the parents. So you see, when these children who love to play football, let them express themselves. As a coach, you should always motivate, and I believe those days coaches love shouting. Probably now they are better educators, they are teachers. You should be friends. Tell them what is you want them to do. You see, some children are very good in dribbling, so you must guide them. That's where the grassroots coaching can play along with Active SG and partner the Football Association of Singapore, where the three have come together. Then you can get a good player system.
Okay. Yeah. The man said it all.
Yeah. I think he said it very well as well.
No doubt about it.
I'm a dad myself with a lot of failings as a father, but I've always said this, that the coach is there to raise the athlete.
Exactly.
And I'm there to raise a gentleman. So it's a whole different thing altogether in terms of that.
All right, all right.
Speaking of gentlemen, this guy, he's a towering gentleman who is not named Alexander Duric. Lim Tong Hai, of course, big, huge defender. And during that period of time, especially in 1994, a very, very popular figure in Singapore football.
Yes, no doubt.
Tong Hai, tell us now, I mean, it's like, what made you stand out as a defender? I mean, aside from your height, was it, did you purposely go out to make yourself stand out, or were you just handsome?
It's a great question. I always had my doubts. I think it's because he's handsome. Good looking.
Alex answered it for me. He said none of them. Yeah. So I would like to believe that I am known for my footballing skills rather than the looks, you know. And probably because of my height, it gives me an added advantage when I'm playing as a defender. I mean, I started off not as a footballer, but I started off playing basketball instead. And the natural progression is from basketball, I became a goalkeeper. And then you know that I can't compete with Lionel. And that's the reason why I went into a defender. So subsequently, it just went on from there. And yeah, so it takes time for us to build our confidence. And I was just sharing with Lionel earlier on that, you know, we need to be given time and to nurture into where we are right now. So we need to be exposed to different games, given a lot of. I mean, I'm glad that I was given a lot of opportunity to be able to compete at different levels, and I'm thankful for that.
All right. And here we are, having one of the best in the Singapore team in defense ever talking to us. That's what makes Lim Tong Hai. Thank you very much, sir.
Coach, is none of that.
Oh, wow. Let's take a trip down memory road with Lionel right now. All right, Lionel, my question for you is simple. It's a very light-hearted one. I want to know some of your memories, bro. I mean, you played for the national team, you played for various clubs, you've gone overseas. I mean, I'm sure you have plenty of memories, but tell me one memory that you have with the Singapore team. It could be a funny story, it could be an emotional one, it could be just a happy one. You tell me one memory. Here we go.
Okay, it would have to be the 2004 Tiger Cup. The reason being said because in 2002 we did badly, and then we were out in the first round. So I don't know how I was called up to actually play for Singapore in 2004 because I was serving my NS, my BMT and so on. So 2004, Ruddy trusted me. So after my BMT, I think I got out of camp, traveled with the team to Japan, Korea, and at the same time play in the second leg against Japan. That's how it all started. So giving the chance to take the #1 jersey, I think from then keeper. I think I was really surprised, caught me by surprise, and then I just enjoyed my football. So I just went on to play and just enjoy myself. And the most important memory for me is that winning it in home soil. I think the second leg, where we really had a good lead in Indonesia 3-1, and coming back home, with the home before you actually play the match, I think the stadiums are full. It's all packed, and everybody is raring, waiting for us to bring the cup home. And winning it for the fans, for Singapore itself, for my country, I think that's the most emotional moment for me as a footballer.
Wow. It was good. Yeah, I watched it and I couldn't be helped but overcome with pride. It was fantastic. After so long, in that red and white, when they hoisted that cup up in the air, I'm like, oh yes.
Was it the tournament you were MVP as well, Lionel?
Yes.
That's
that was the
2004?
tournament, yeah.
That's his humble face. Look at his humble face.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, that was the one where I was the MVP. And it's so cool when the goalkeeper becomes the MVP because it's rare. The goal scorers, I mean, they take a lot of the limelight, but then I remember in the World Cup, the MVP for 1 year was Oliver Kahn.
Right.
And I love that man. One of the best I've seen. And when I found out that Lionel was MVP as well, I'm like, yeah, goalkeeper representing, yo. Well done, Lionel.
I mean, he saved the penalty against Malaysia. That was the year, right, Lionel? He saved against Malaysia in the semi-finals.
That was the year after. That was the next edition.
07.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Ever since he saved the penalty for Malaysia, they've been trying to save their currency.
Never say penalty against. I don't know what happened.
Alex only shoots one place, you know. It doesn't change. Yeah.
Since Alex wants to talk, let's have Alex talking right now. He's the last person amongst all on the bench today that actually won the Suzuki Cup. I believe he won it in 2010 or 2011. 12. Okay. 20.
Old man. All right. Mark, you old man.
I don't know. With you, Alex, I always have to go back, you know. It's never about moving forward. Alex, of course, is one of our naturalized footballers. How Singapore are you now? How Singaporean are you now, Alex? That's number one. And number two, what is it like? Was it pretty strange the first time you put on a Singapore jersey?
Well, I'm still Singaporean, and I was 21 years ago when I came here in Singapore. Still the same. I still love this country. My kids was born here. I basically half of my life live here after my hometown. Second question, I can say that. What was the second question?
Was it strange to put on a Singapore jersey? Because I remember you put on a different.
Well, I guess I started playing for national team as I don't know how many people know, very late. I was 37. I was playing for that time and for Singapore Armed Forces. Probably had the best season in 2007 for Singapore Armed Forces. We won the league and cup. I scored. I remember it was 44 goals in both competition. And honestly, I just got my passport, Singapore passport. I was kind of applying a few times, get rejected. I went again, rejected. So in and out, and from the Lavan, the immigration, I remember the building very well. After I got my passport, I was kind of like, was a surprise call from the national coach Radi. For my first game was World Cup qualifier against Tajikistan on the old national stadium, the Kallang with a picture. And I can clearly remember actually I was supposed to be sit on the bench, and Indra got injured in just on the night before the game. And so coach kind of put me in the first 11. I think I felt sorry for the Tajikistan players because I could I fly there I scored 2 goals. We won 2-0. I could probably play for 3 days. I was so excited to play for the national team, honestly. And that's what I remember as my first game for the national team. Ended up playing all the way to 2012. You just mentioned before, my last game was in Suzuki Cup in 2012. We won a final against Thailand, and then I retired after that. Yeah.
Well, here he is speaking to us as a true blue Singaporean.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much, Juris. Thank you for whatever you have contributed to the team. We absolutely love you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to go over to Joseph right now. He's been quiet for a while. Joseph!
I've been listening to Alex's stories.
That's the best things.
Joseph, my question to you is not so much about the art of football. It's more about the response from the fans. What do you think is one misconception the public has about footballers in general?
I think they think it's an easy life, and I think that's probably the most relevant part of it all. They see a footballer, they see the glory side of things, they see how they train for a couple of hours a day, they play on the weekend, they get paid well. And I think people don't really understand the sacrifices that are made by football. I'm sure if you ask these greats next to me, how much they sacrifice to become a footballer, the sacrifices are huge. I remember, not to these guys' standards obviously, but when I was playing the game as well, your social life takes quite a battering. You stay home, you sacrifice, you make sure you prepare well, you eat well. I tried to eat as well as I could. But you have to try and be as professional as you can to be able to get the last ounce out of you if you have that burning desire to succeed. And when you see the careers of the gentleman next to me, you know that they would have prepared, Alex, all of them. Actually, if you see what condition they're in today, it's probably just the side effects of being a true professional in what they had to achieve. So the sacrifices that are made, stay with you for a long, long period of time. And again, if you don't sacrifice, you don't achieve. And that's how hungry you have to be able to get to the top. And that's hopefully what we're going to teach these young players coming through the system now. We want them to be the best they can possibly be. So they have to sacrifice and prioritise what's important to them in life.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely right. It's all about sacrifice, and I think it just crosses every sport as well.
You never go and get what you want if a little bit of sacrifice is not there.
Yeah.
And what he said, this entire panel, these guys, they became the greats, they became the legends, but nobody knows the stories of sacrifice that they probably had gone through. So well done, boys. Well done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rizal, we spoke about the S-League earlier on. Now, in the tier below the S-League, there's also the community level in terms of the amateur leagues. How much more can we do to actually bring up the level of the amateur league and maybe the corporate leagues even at the grassroots levels, Rizal?
Thanks, Mark. See, this one is my opinion is that a lot of people want to play football. We have so many leagues, like you say, corporate league. Now we have the National Singapore Football League, which is the lower tier division before the SPL. But most of them, like what you say, most of them are working, study, or play football. So we have a lot of people who like to play football. If you look at the social league, those social league Sunday football, we have a lots of team playing. But when you come to professional, when you want them to play professional, none of them want, because to them football is not a career in Singapore. Because I think this is everybody is like we are trained from young, like you go to school, studies, or we must get a degree, get a good job, then married, buy a HDB flat. We are into that system. Even my son, I bring him to play football, and for 5 minutes he just give up. He don't want to play football. So I think what we need is more support from all the bodies, be it government, football bodies, grassroots, the people, the parents. We need to tell them that, look, football is a career, but you must put your heart in. So you must love what you do, so that then we have more footballers. We have a lot of talented footballers, but then they choose not to play football. If you ask me, the Singapore Football League, there are so many talented footballers, but some of them are doing Grab driver, some are doing working as some are working like technicians. The good ones will be like teachers. Most of them are teachers. So I think we really need to look and we need the support from the grounds. We need to have a better pay system probably, so that more people can play football. You say at least when the football career's lifespan is not long, probably until 35 or Alex 37 or 40s, you see. But then after that, what are they going to? 40, yeah. So what are they going to do after football? You see, we have to look into that after football. So this is why maybe Lionel also quit early and go into teaching. So that's my take. We really need everybody to come and support this football. Like what you say, how to make SPL better. Those who have not watched any SPL match, make a trip down to watch one of the match. I think you will get it. You will get excited. It's different when you watch on football. I mean, you watch on television and you watch live. It's different. It's totally different.
But can they still get married after that? Is that okay? Is that okay? I mean, just checking, because I'm not married. That's okay.
So you must.
I got you. Oh, thanks, Rizal. Thanks. Wow. I think, I think we've asked them what we need to ask them, Mark. But it's what we started off the show with. We said that the people who are tuning in to the show via Zoom, via Facebook, you have got a chance to send in your questions and ask your favorite football greats some burning desires that you've always wanted to question them with. Yeah, so...
okay, let's roll it. Let's go with one of the questions that has been asked by one of our audiences. If we can flash it up. Question for everyone. So anyone can answer this. Would it be better if FAS make a football trial, just like the First 11, for the sake of Joseph? First 11 was a show that was done by MediaCorp about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A reality football show to discover stars. So would it be better if FAS makes a football trial, just like the First 11, like a reality TV show?
Interesting. This is open to anyone, so go for it. Okay.
I think FS need to answer this.
I think there's reality shows all around the world, and it's another vehicle of being able to identify a talented player. Now, I know throughout the world that they have had similar things, and you always find a great story to tell through one of these through one of these shows, where at this present time we're now expanding and trying to enhance our scouting process. So if a reality show came up such as this, and I'm not familiar with the First 11, season 1 and 2 that it says there, but I'm sure, and I'm not too sure what the results were of that. Did a player come through? Did a player get identified? But I think anything that creates interest in football, and I think this would create interest in football, and it's another mechanism that we can use to say, well, look what we discovered from something we didn't expect. So there's different areas of football. As structured as we can be, as detailed as we can to put our plans into place, there could be something out of the box that works as well. And this could be such a project that we can consider. I will do a bit more research on it now to see.
Right.
I don't know if Alex got identified from First 11 and played for the Nationals.
I was a singer at the time.
There was a player that came through.
It was.
Van Heusen. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yeah. So
He's a good player as well.
yeah. So
Right.
he came through the first 11. Yeah.
Pretty good. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right, so what's the next question we have, courtesy of our fans? Hit me.
Question number 2 for Lionel.
Okay, this is for Lionel. Now, Singapore seems to have produced a fair bit of good goalkeepers over the years, with quite a few playing overseas. Now, what have we done right in producing good goalkeepers? For some reason, this person has chosen to be anonymous.
Must be Lionel, he said.
I'll work from the back. Okay, I think thanks for the question. I think first and foremost, I think basically we are really very lucky to have great goalkeepers. I think like Hassan, Izwan, and upcoming keepers. But I think we do seem to have a problem moving forward. Yeah, I don't see any outstanding younger keepers. I think really so. I really do hope that we do spot talent, and then in this role we can have continuity there, and the country will not have problem, identifying future national goalkeepers. Because in my days, I think we were all fighting for the one spot. It's a very unique position. Only one member can play at a point of time, and you have to really wait for somebody to make a very, very bad mistake or get injured before you have the opportunity to actually play. So in that sense, I think based on this question, I think we got a good coach, a good eye for talent. Previously, I think I would have given him credit. I think he's a former national coach, I think Bising, and the one who scouted me as well, I think Robert Lim. I think he has also scouted many goalkeepers. I think Hassan came in the same ranks as well. Shahril Jantan. So you do have many goalkeepers came under him. So I think we need to have important scouting system in place. So that's where we can actually have a continuity, like what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a really good point, and just to add on with that as well, KP, the reason why we produce very good goalkeepers throughout the years, I think that a lot of the forward roles in a football team, especially in the S League, were taken up by foreigners. But then we blooded our own goalkeepers.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, nobody actually put a foreigner in goal for a long
that,
while.
true that.
Also, they had to face week in, week out strikers hitting shots at them, and then they just started improving. That's one of the reasons why we've always had very good goalkeepers.
I agree with you. And when this question came up, brought me back to Mr. David Lee as well.
Yeah.
One of the best we've had. Would you agree with me, Lionel?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's one of the best. Yeah, I'm thankful that I managed to learn some tips from him before he actually retired. Yeah, so.
All right. Thank you very much, Lionel.
No problem.
All right.
David, of course, played with Tongha. I don't know if Tongha is going to answer the next question. Question number 3, can we... No, it's for Durich,
All right.
Good luck to you, Durich. What do you think about the quality of young players in Singapore and their current progress in the national team? Oh.
No comment.
Ouch.
No, I think this, joke to the side, I think this, like every league, I think we also need to give opportunity to the younger players to come and play in the league. I think this we started. I think we have now a lot of young players in the league, which is important. I think they must play somewhere, and we have to give them full support. I think they also need to understand that they have to see that it's not easy to play. Do we have talented players? Of course we do. I think that we, not only in the clubs, we have a Young Lions squad with a lot of talented players there. What they need probably need more kind of overseas competitions, then where they can really see where they stand. But I think for now on, I think it's good enough for them to be in the some of them in Young Lions squad and some of them in in the clubs, with the clubs, and they mixing with the senior players always help, and also playing in the league is really good. I think of course, one thing what we always forget, they're young, they do mistakes. We have to understand that, and also we need to be patient. I think young players is, you really need to be patient with them, give them a lot of support, and hopefully then we will get some of these young players go through and become really great players like what was Indra, Alam Shah, Lionel, Lim Tong Hai, all of us who was before take over and play for the in highest level, and hopefully one day we'll see soon some young players playing overseas, but we already have few guys playing overseas, so we just need to give them full support and see how far they can go.
Definitely.
Yeah, and some of them, I mean, Lionel's a fine example of one of those coming far. How good was your Young Lions team from that year, Lionel? That's probably the best Young Lions team
Probably
that I've
right.
seen, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Ariel was from there. Khairul was from there as well, right, Lionel?
Yep. So, basically you have Amri as well, you have Baihaki, you have Hassan. So it's a big chunk of players actually came through the rank of Young Lions, previously.
That was a fantastic team. I
Okay.
think people love to hear Alex talk.
They do, because the next question is for you again, Alex. And
Again?
this one's about how good you look. Where do you get your inspiration in getting
Naturally, I'm
yourself
good
fit?
looking.
This question is from
What was that
Lauren.
question? I'm sorry.
Where do you get your inspiration in getting yourself fit? You look great. I mean, how do you do this?
Thank you for that. Tell me that. You need to mention
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
fitness. Well, I can say that there's something which only come in my early age when I was probably doing another sport. I probably nobody mentioned here tonight, but I was in champion in another sport. Was used to be canoeing and kayaking. I even was Olympian in that sport. So helped me that there was individual sport, and basically I realized when the young age, when I started doing that in age 12, how much effort you put in and then how much result you get. And helped me after when I switched to the football that I realized that I really you need to be fit. Whatever sport you do, you need to really give 100% in trainings and do a lot of extra sessions. Where I get inspiration, I guess I hate to lose. I hate to, even today, if I run and all this, I see person in front of me running, I make sure I'm up front of him in next 5 minutes. So basically, inspiration you can find anywhere, everywhere, especially today with all this social media, you see some pump guys and all this, you're thinking, okay, I should be like him, and so and then you start training in hard. But it's something which one was huge part of my life. I believe that if you wanted to be professional sportsman, you really need to be fit. It's one of the things which one is you can't hide anymore. You really show very fast if you are fit or not. So I have to emphasize to the younger generation that is how fitness is important, but also, of course, you need to know how to play. But big part is fitness. Yeah.
Right.
Not a lot of people know about this. Some of them would if they followed the career of Duric. He actually appeared at the 1992 Olympics.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a canoeist. He represented, what was it, Yugoslavia at that time,
Yeah,
right?
Bosnia and Herzegovina. I was first Olympian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he was a canoeist. I remember the first time I was doing a commentary on a Duric game. He was playing for Tiong Bahru and all that kind of stuff. I said, how good can this guy be? He's a canoeist. He's not even a footballer.
Then what happened?
He became the all-time top scorer in the S League. So what do I know?
But any other sport you're willing to take on at this point of time in your career, Duric?
Bridge. Contract bridge.
Wine sports.
All right. We've got another question coming up.
Yep. Next
Mark?
question. Anyone can take this from Joy Marie. Thank you so much for this. What do you think Singapore can do to promote football during pandemic? Do you think the sport can survive without a live audience?
Oh, this is a good one.
Shall we go to Tong Hai since he hasn't answered yet?
Yeah.
Go for it, Tong Hai.
I think this question, Rizal has answered it quite appropriately. I think what we can do is to make sure that everybody come together and support and promote Singapore football together, because we can't possibly be doing it on our own, and we need to support. I understand that we have like Mark, you have mentioned earlier on, we have a lot of distraction. But then again, what happened is, in order for us to have to promote this promote football, the product has got to be good, and that is where we need to look into our teams that are playing in, the players. So the effort also must come from the players themselves, because at the end of the day, they are walking advertisement. So if they train well, they know that the responsibility of a good professional footballers, what makes a good professional footballers, and when people look up to them, and people, I mean, and because they are role models, like what Lionel has mentioned earlier on, they are role models, and role models have responsibilities, and this is important because school kids wants to follow what role models are doing, and they would like to emulate them. And just imagine why would people want to emulate Ronaldo? Because he's a role model. So, and as long as our players are able to live up to the expectation, they know what it takes to be a true professional, and I believe with that we will be able to, our football, the standard of football will increase and get better from then on. Do you think the sports can survive without live audience? We try, because as it is right now, if you look at across the world, I mean, in every part of the world, be it NBA, be it the Bundesliga, be it the La Liga, even the EPL, they are currently surviving without the live audience. But of course, that makes a lot of difference because we were talking about the competition, a lesser game, let's say in the League Cup. A smaller team will depend very heavily on the live audience so that they can sort of bully the visiting team. But without the live audience, when they're competing, you can actually see the difference in level of play. So it will be a struggle. It will be a struggle, but I think we can still survive. But hopefully, we get over this pandemic soon, and then we will be able to see more live audience coming on board.
All right.
It's very much like what we're doing now. It's just strange not to have someone on the other
Exactly.
side asking the questions with their voice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if everything was up and open, we'd be having this with a panel of guests in front of us as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we are just as will Singapore football.
Yep.
All right, next question, also for everyone. What is the future for Team Singapore? Singapore Lions, given the current pandemic. Any goals set or targets such as 2020, the past, which was dropped over the years? This was by Mike Shee. I'd like to pose this question to Rizal, actually. Rizal, I mean, you look like a man with the plan.
Those who haven't answered yet, you get arrowed.
There you go. So what do you think, bro?
Okay, what I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's start with that.
Okay, let me think a good answer. Okay, I believe our current national team was doing well before this pandemic kick off. So the momentum, the mood was there. We are doing quite well with the new coach Taksuma, with TD, all the technical stuff what we have. I believe if this pandemic go over, they will continue the good they will continue the good playing and bring the results in the next qualifying World Cup that is coming. So for the goal target at 2020, maybe I hand over to TD to answer this question.
No, I just wanted to say thanks Mike for sending through that question. During pandemic's been really tough for everyone around the world, and you see how Singapore's dealt with it. We've been very cautious, and we've tried to bring the leagues back together now, and slowly we hope to see the resumption of SPL, which will also affect the national team. But I just wanted to just mention now, since this question came up, about the work Coach Tatsuma's done, the vision and the philosophy that we want to put together for the future of Singapore football. We wanted to look a bit different to what it did perhaps in the past, and I think that the whole fan base has been really buoyed by the type of football that Singapore's played over the last year through the World Cup qualifiers, and it probably just shows what we're capable of going forward. So if we can play this attractive style of football and get results, which we are doing against teams that not many people thought that we would at some stage, and it just shows how we can grow and get better. The goal, I think the short-term goal of talking about 2020 is to continue this progress of playing good football and getting the fan base closer to us, and giving Singapore fans something to be really proud of. And I think that's something that's starting to get instilled. And if we grow that, it's going to get better. Immediately, I think Coach Tsutsouma's looking at, we're sitting third at the moment in the World Cup qualifiers, and that's something that we can now look towards next year to see if people, like I said, might not have thought it possible, but we can possibly qualify if we keep these good results. So that would be a short-term goal. But I think in terms of the long-term goal, we're looking at how can we develop this culture of Singapore football and the philosophy that we want to play to a higher level. And there's projects in place for Goal 2034 has been amongst something that we've discussed about how we can keep growing the game and our national teams, develop players for our national teams going forward to make us a strong footballing nation. I think that's very important.
It looks great.
Yeah, it does. I think that we spoke about it with Tong Hai as well. It just needs time. It can't happen overnight.
It can.
It needs time.
Definitely.
And I mean, it's like you look at what's been happening around the world, all the best teams, the coach has been there at least for a couple of seasons.
Exactly.
It needs time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Alex again.
Yes.
Oh, me again.
Yeah.
Like that.
By the same person, Henry.
Yeah, Tenry is a fan of yours, I figure. He wants to know your future plans and whether he can be a part of it.
What's my future plans? So basically, well, I kind of set my plans in a few years when I joined Active SG Football Academy to kind of get the kids playing football again, have a love for the football. I think this is important to do that, give them opportunity to play for the start. What I also wanted to for the future is basically to engage as many kids we can, and there's a lot of talented kids in this country, and we can kind of hopefully find them and channel them in a probably in different level in what we started now. We recently like a development centers where we let the kids train together and hopefully they can improve their football knowledge and for the future. So basically, I'll stay. My plans is to be here and hopefully help Singapore football in whatever we're trying to do, and that we focus on the young players. Of course, we do, and that's the most important things. I think we need to give the younger generation to come through, and give the best in the football terms. Of course. Do that also, we need to also scout. There's a lot of kids who is unknown and probably not, we don't know about them around the Singapore who is talented, but they're not yet to discover. So it's also our job to go around and when is everything goes back in the normal, so we can see the games and the school games, grassroots games, any games, and or even the street futsal, and see some talented kids and try to bring them and channel them into the football. So this is my plans. I'm here. Didn't go anywhere.
Staying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Damn.
I know you're jealous, Mark, so it's okay. I understand.
Home is where the heart is.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
let's go one by one with this. Starting with Lionel, most difficult player that you've played against, especially the foreign teams. It might not be
Only
the
can
foreign
see
teams.
one team here, Arsenal. Don't see any.
Yeah,
Let's start with you, Lionel.
Yeah.
yeah, I think basically I had the opportunity to play with many quality players. I would say that the most difficult player I played against, I would have to say Zidane. Yeah, I had the opportunity to play with him when I was up in Spain for a charity campaign event. So it was an amazing experience for me.
I think he would be many person's choice for most difficult player to play against,
It's only Zidane.
Zidane. Okay, but good choice, Lionel. All right. How about you, Tong Hai?
Well, I have the honor to play a few of the foreign clubs, especially when in the mid-90s we played against Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Spurs, met with Sheringham. And I think among them, the most difficult players that I've come across, especially talking about foreign players, foreign teams, it will be Les Ferdinand.
Oh, yeah.
Because that guy is big and he's like a tree trunk. You try to nudge him, you You bang him, in the end, you fall. So he's that strong. And one incident which I remember very clearly was when both of us was jumping for the ball, you know. And he jumped first, so I said, yeah, you know, I'll wait for him to jump first. And then when I jumped, much later after he jumped, I landed first. You know, he's still hanging in the air. So he's one of the most difficult guys that I've played against, and a very talented guy. And the best part of it is he's a gentleman. He is not a rough player. He's not a dirty player or whatsoever. And I respect him for that. Yeah.
Rich, you're most
Just
difficult.
thinking Arsenal, all the players, but I didn't play against them. But I just see that team and club because they're the best club in the world. Basically, Ronaldinho, Brazil. We played a friendly game, and Ronaldinho came with the Brazil Olympic team in Kallang. We played against them. I can say that what a player. Even he wasn't fit, to be honest. He just moved from Barcelona to Milan. I remember that, and he came, and you know. What a player, and we all know what he can do with the ball, and he was amazing. So, but it was so many players I can't even remember, but it's like it was just opportunity for me to play some of those games international. But yeah, I remember him as one of the guys who was really outstanding. In his
What about yourself? What about yourself, Joseph?
I'll probably show my age now, but I did have the fortune. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to play against. It was a practice game actually, obviously, but we won the title over in Australia, and we travelled to Europe when we played in Italy. And Ancelotti, who's now one of the great coaches.
Gosh, when was that, man?
So yeah, and Boniek as well. I played against those two guys, and I think I waltzed around on the pitch for a while, just admiring them rather than playing. So they were great players, and what they did on the pitch that day, I just thought to myself, geez, I got a bit of work to do.
Are they still around?
How about you, Rizal?
Oh yeah, Ancelotti's coach. Correct.
How about you, Rizal?
Nah,
Your most formidable opponent.
I know how I wish I can play against Liverpool, you know, and rack them up. I got no chance to play with one of these teams, so it's a
Oh, no chance.
no.
Okay. Now, how about we come back to the region or locally? Pick one player that you thought was, oh my God, your toughest opponent.
Oh, I can't recall this question.
Can't recall, huh? Okay, come. Let me try to twist this further. Okay. Let me try to twist this further. Which is one player whom you saw, whether it's locally or internationally, and you thought to yourself, man, if only I had a chance to play with him once. Who is that one player? This one I think you can recall.
If I got a chance to play,
Yes. Dream.
probably Alex.
Yeah. I knew it.
And KP, that's probably because he wants to kick him now after.
All right. Everybody loves Alex.
That's a new sitcom we're doing here. Can we go to question number 9? Rizal. Okay. Wow, so thank you for providing us a platform for Sunday soccer trainings. I'm just going for my trainings and playing with my friends. What's the question here?
There's no question. I think he's just saying
That's a
thank
thank
you.
you.
So thank you, Rizal. This is from Wilden.
You remember Wilden, Rizal?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess. He said thank you. He
Welcome,
put his
Wilden.
heart out on social media
Okay,
for
thank
you.
you. Welcome. So we hope.
Yes.
I hope the pandemic over. We can start soon. You see now, everybody is asking when we can kick off the training. So I really pray hard. Hopefully, good news coming soon. So we can start again on the pitch, and everybody can go all out.
All right. For Joseph, thank you for advocating football for women. What are your goals for women in football, and what is your coaching philosophy? This one by Shahnaz.
Yep, thank you for your question. We've been discussing our strategies for women's football for quite a while, and recently we've put together a plan in place on how we can grow the game. We think that there's, like I mentioned before, the growth of women's football I think is untapped at the moment, and I've been fortunate enough to as I think Dong Hai also mentioned, that around the world we've seen the growth of the women's game. It might have been Newmark a bit earlier. I saw the Australian how it went from a very low level to a very high level in a very short space of time. And I can see something similar like that happening in Singapore. We're hoping to stabilise the competition structure, and we want to try and bring into it a youth pathway, which we haven't got at the moment, which we think we can create, so we can give this pathway for the young, talented young girls going through it, and not just the talented young girls, but for all girls who want to be part of football, because it's a sport that I think everyone enjoys and loves. As far as coaching philosophy goes, we've been working very hard in aligning a philosophy and a vision for Singapore football to make it an attractive style of play, a dominant style of play, both in boys and girls. And we want to have some type of identity that people can relate to and be proud of when they watch a Singapore national team, whether it's at youth level or senior level. We're working really hard to create that. It's going to take a bit of time. I think we need to change a few things. We're putting, I think, a strong foot forward in terms of starting to change the culture and what we want to create going forward. So hopefully within, in the near future, we'll see a Singapore style of play that a lot of people, whether it's boys and girls, they'll enjoy playing.
All right, thanks a lot, Joseph. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have to take in your questions for our football greats.
And thank you for sending them in, guys. We really, really appreciate that. Some really good questions.
Yeah.
We got something very important to do now, Mark.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Handled this at the start of it all, and yeah, there we go. This could be yours.
25 of you stand a chance to win this. This is a signed football by all the greats that you've seen on the panel. Lionel, Joseph, Tong Hai, Rizal, and of course Alex.
Yeah. And just to prove that they signed it, let's put the cameras back on the greats as well. There we
you
go.
go.
Those are the footballs that they have signed.
There you go. Rizal.
Yeah.
25 of you are going to stand a chance to win this. That's Lionel Lewis's autograph. And all your names have gone into a system. The system will roll out all of your names automatically. That's Joseph's. Thank you so much. So we want to wish everybody that's taken part of this lucky draw all the very best. Alexander Durich's name has gone onto the football as well.
And so too, of course, Tong Hai.
Yes.
He has signed the ball too. There we go.
There you go.
So,
All right.
25, right, KP?
That's all we can do. 25.
Okay.
Okay.
And now it's really the luck of the draw.
Drum roll.
Okay, yep. We'll email you and when you can collect your prizes, your footballs that are signed, of course, by the 5 monkeys to our right.
All right. Well, I guess all good things come to an end.
Yep, that's right.
We want to wrap up right now. So I guess, first of all, thank you to each and every one of you on the panel. Lionel, Tong Hai, Alex, Joseph, and Rizal. You guys have been great. We want to give you a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
All right.
Well done indeed. Oh yeah, before they go, there's actually just one question that they asked. So one word answer from each and every one of you. There's a question that came in as to who will win the English Premiership, starting with
Love it.
Lionel.
I love
Just
it.
one word.
Okay.
Man City.
Hi,
Liverpool.
Alex.
Arsenal.
Joseph.
Man City.
Rizal.
Manchester United.
Well, we've got a variety of responses.
Well,
I don't think they're going to win. They want them to win. Who do you think is going to win, Mark?
Myself. Liverpool.
Well, thank you for beating us last night. Thank you very much. A gentleman's handshake. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a dream come true sharing the stage with this man. His name is Mark Richmond.
And his name is KP Sandhu. Watch out for his stuff. It's really, really good.
This has been Straight Talk with our football greats. We'll be back soon,
Yep.
either on your screens or on the pitch.
Thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for having us. Thank you.
To all the gentlemen, good night. To all the ladies, good morning.